Welcome to DC Beer Show, everybody. We are at DC Beer across social media, dcbeer.com. Brandy, what are you drinking this lovely evening?
Hi, Jake, and hi, Richard. I'm drinking one of my Snally spoils. I'm going to start as a hashtag now. The amazing humans at Good Word walked over to the DC Beer podcast stage and dropped off a bunch of beer, and I was over the moon. I'm drinking a Märzen style lager 5.8, which, Good Word really focuses on low ABV beers. And this one is, well, I love the can A, but it's a Märzen. It's the most perfect time of the year for Märzen. So, Mr. Richard Papa Beer, welcome to the show. What are you drinking tonight?
Papa Beer in the house. Hello. I am drinking the flagship IPA from my local Maryville, Tennessee craft brewery, Blackberry Farm. Quite nice. It's like just a perfect IPA, really, in all of the ways that you would want just an India Pale Ale to be. It's just bitter enough, just hoppy enough, quite dry, and it's kind of become my staple. And Bearded Iris Homestyle, which I can get in 12 packs at the Kroger down the street. Jake, what are you drinking? Or did we already cover that?
We didn't, but I have here, haters will say it's fake, the very last can in existence of Red Bear Black Viking.
There it
is.
Wow.
They did this maybe like 8 or 9 months
February,
ago,
right?
and I scrolled one can away. Yeah. Because as the weather turns, I kind of wanted dessert tonight, but I didn't want to eat dessert. And I was like, 7.6, cool. I could drink this whole thing. They can well. It's held up very nice. You still get like a little bit of that kind of like Stroopwafel Biscoff panela brown sugar, a little cinnamon, baking spices in there. Still really nicely done. If you see it around, obviously, I would say you should cop that.
I drank my last can of that same beer maybe a month ago now when I was sanding wood in the backyard. I was like, oh, let me have this. I deserve this. And it held up so well. It was well done. And it was not that sweet. I love that beer. I know it was a collaboration, but I hope they do it again.
Me too, because I don't really do the pastry stuff, but I think this is well done. But speaking of the sweeter stuff, Richard,
yes,
you're in Knoxville now, or just outside.
I'm in a suburb.
You're in a suburb of Knoxville. Zool's Killer Lights Festival is happening this weekend, and I know that you had Zool's Peanut Butter and Jelly mixtape, which in fact is not a beer but a seltzer. Your thoughts?
I thought it was delicious. I thought it was exactly what they intended it to be. It tasted like peanut butter and jelly. It tasted like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, mostly. There's not a lot of that. Like, I don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so it's a little bit nostalgic, and it's certainly delicious in small doses. I couldn't drink like 16 ounces of that, but it would be, I liked it. And I will probably be getting some. I will be keeping it around. It's a lovely sort of split 4 ways kind of after dinner dessert that isn't pastry stouty. That's what I thought of it. It's delicious, but yeah, it's not the kind of thing I would drink.
If you mixed it with Campari, then it could be a before dinner drink. No,
but Campari, I don't know if they even sell Campari around here.
No, I was really impressed by it. It delivers everything that you would want a PB&J fermented malt beverage to be. I thought it was really well done, and I've since learned that they come in grape and strawberry as well, and so I might have to collect them all like Pokemon, at least just try them out. I thought it would,
Well, I will see.
I was really impressed.
I will actually be going to the Kill the Lights Beer Festival this weekend, and I will see what I can pick up.
Hey,
for you,
who is going to be at Kill the Lights that we know?
Oh, so many people that I am really excited to see. The folks from Other Half, RAR, friends that we met at Snally, Tripping Animals. Of course, I'm going to have some lagers from Schilling. The Answer from Richmond is going to be there. There's like dozens more. I'm actually kind of excited about Burial from North Carolina. Brandy says they're good, right?
Yeah. Love Burial. Yeah.
All right.
My home state.
Cool. But I'm also looking forward to trying a lot of new breweries, more Southeast focused. I'm really excited. My first beer festival in my new state. So, and also locally, Kushwa is going to be there. So
that's awesome.
Excited.
I'm kind of jealous. I want to go to a new. I was just thinking today because I was walking around. It was gorgeous. I was like, man, I wish I was in a new city, visiting a new brewery right now and not working. But I actually just recently went to Kushwa. They just opened a very brand new location in Columbia, Maryland, in the old Frisco's. So if you know where that is, when I went, they hadn't even updated the Google Maps, so it still said Frisco's lived there. It's gorgeous in there, great murals, 1,000 tap lines. They have cocktails. Love me some Kushwa, and you actually you don't even have to be in Columbia, Maryland to have Kushwa, because the Baltimore Craft Beer Festival is actually tomorrow, November the 4th, and Kushwa, along with 50 plus other breweries, are also going to be there. I will be there, and I'm pretty sure my dear friend Scoops is going to be there as well. Are you going, Mr. Jake? Yeah, right. I'm so excited.
A $14 round trip MARC train ticket, and then if you could surreptitiously, quietly crack a can of something on the MARC train. I've never done that, but my friends tell me that they have, and that it's a good time. Door to door in an hour. What's not to like? On the Canton waterfront, going to see a bunch of cool people. Going to have a good time.
Yeah, I went last year with a couple of friends, and I guess I didn't remember that it's so nice. It's right on the water. I bought earrings last year. There were a bunch of really great vendors, and the way that it's all spaced out, it's not like your average beer fest. So I highly recommend it. And actually, we gave away some tickets. So shout out to the winners to the Baltimore Craft Beer Festival. If you would like to win stuff, because everyone likes to win, right? You should definitely follow us on all the socials at DC Beers. It can be easier. DCBEER. Like, come on. So follow us at DC Beer. Jake and Mike are on the Twitters. We will give out more stuff. We've given out tickets before, and we will do it again. And our Patreon members also get super big discounts on stuff like tickets and local beer. If you're not in the know, then you should be in the know, because you might get some free stuff and go drink. So congrats to the lucky winners. That's a big weekend for me, because Friday, the night before tonight, I am going to be at Last Call at the Smithsonian. This one's called the American Beer and Changing Climate. And this is Teresa McCullough's last Smithsonian event, unfortunately. But we have some big heavy hitters, females in the beer industry. We have Andrea Stanley from Valley Malt. We have Victoria Garza. She is the sales manager at Yakima Chief Hops, but also the co-founder of the annual Sessions del Migrante. It's a beer collaboration which honors the labor and expertise of migrant Mexican hop workers in the Pacific Northwest, which is really cool. Denise Ford Sawadago, from Montclair Brewing, and Morgan Owl Crisp from, my home state, Seven Clans, Asheville. This is such a great event. I loved it last year and the year before. And some of the Women's Brew Culture Club women and Jordan, shout out to Jordan, we went and picked hops from the Victory Gardens, from the Smithsonian, and several of our local DC homebrewers are pouring a beer tonight. So if there's still tickets available tonight, you should totally go. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be a big weekend, but I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, you'll see Brandy. You'll see Jake. You'll see Mike Stein. You'll see the homebrewers. You might even see an uncredited guest appearance by Bonnie Branding of Wheatland Spring, or may not
Bonnie
bring beer. Yeah, it's cool when like an uncredited guest shows up and they're famous. You're like, oh, hey, I know them. But yeah, it's Bonnie with beer. So that's cool. Plus, she and Andrea of Valley Malt can discuss heirloom grains while Stein and I nerd out about that. So
Very true.
should be a good hang.
I'll let you guys
Yeah.
nerd. I'll just go be social and take pictures of everybody. I'm going to get dressed up. I love it.
All right, we've got a couple other events on our radar. And one of them is the first anniversary of The Lost Generation. And I sat down with Jared and Anne, the co-founders and co-owners of Lost Generation, just to spend a few minutes talking about lessons learned in the first year and a couple cool releases. And by a couple, I mean 6 beer releases that they have for their party on 11/11. That's November 11th. At 11 a.m. for VIPs, everybody else at 2 p.m.
I better be VIP.
Hi, my name is Anne.
And my name is Jared, and we are here with Lost Generation Brewing Company. We are so excited to announce our first anniversary coming up. We will be celebrating it here at the brewery.
It'll be on the 11th. We have a lot of, on Saturday, November 11th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of exciting activity on that day. We will have a live band from 1 to 8. We'll have oyster shucking from 2 p.m. And we also are going to sell VIP tickets starting Wednesday, October 25th. It'll go live. It is just $25, and it gets you a commemorative glass, 2 tasters of your choice, which include our first barrel-aged beers, our collaboration beers with...
Which, let us not be remiss, I think we forgot to mention that part of our anniversary is we are dropping 6 beers on that day.
What?
So 6 total beers.
6 new beers.
Yeah, so I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm as excited as you are about the oysters, but we have 6 wonderful beers. We have 2 amazing collabs. We did a collab with Cerebral out of Denver, and it's a wonderful 8% hazy IPA with Cryo Pop, Nectaron, one of our favorite hops, and Simcoe. And we actually had Cerebral in-house here to help us brew it up.
Shout out to Lily at Cerebral. Hi, Lily.
Yes,
nice to see you during Snallygaster.
And then we have a collab with Resident Culture, which I'm so stoked about because Chris, their head brewer and owner, and us were friends back in California when he was working at Russian River and I was working at Lagunitas. So to commemorate that, we joined forces, and of course we brewed a West Coast IPA with deliciousness in it. I mean, we decided to pull out no stops, so it's got Mosaic, Citra Incognito, Simcoe, and Nelson Sullivan hops, and it's 7% and amazing. But on top of that, we are re-releasing 2 of our favorite beers from this past year. Tiger Spirit, our collaboration with Chef Stopping AAPI Hate, and Dying Moons and Shadows, our dark Czech lager, which was a favorite of everybody here. Yeah, but we also are releasing 2 barrel-aged beers that day as well. 10 months ago, we put some stout into some Catoctin Creek rye barrels and have just loved the way they've matured and felt it was finally ready. And what better thing to bring out for the anniversary than that? So they've been aging almost as long as we've been open, and now we're bringing them to you. One will be on pecans and one is on vanilla. So we will be releasing all 6 of those beers. And with your VIP tickets from 11 to 2, you have access to all 6 beers. And only after 2 will the public have access to the collab beers and the barrel-aged stouts. They'll only have access to Tiger Spirit and Tamave. So if you wanted to get that sneak peek, in all honesty, the bourbon barrel-aged stouts will probably go pretty quick. So if you wanted to make sure you got those on Nitro Pour, make sure to pick up your VIP tickets. That'll give you access from 11 to 2. And then after that...
Are those to be canned or bottled?
Yes, the stouts will be bottled. All of the rest will be canned as well. Yeah, we will definitely still have the rest of it by 2:00. But yeah, if you wanted to try the stouts on Nitro Pour, it'll probably be gone by 2, but maybe. I don't know. It depends on how much stout people want to drink. But we will only have a very limited supply on draft. So certainly not more than that day's worth. But then we will have bottles to sell thereafter.
That said, you don't have to buy VIP passes to join in on the fun. We are going to be open. We're going to be celebrating all day. So, open to the general public from 11 a.m. to midnight. Our first band from at 1 o'clock is going to be Jesse Marie Duo, this great kind of acoustic duo that is a beautiful sound. And then from 4 o'clock, we'll have Bad Luck Gold, which is kind of a more jazzy vibe, which fits with our jazz meets hip hop theme.
Very cool, very cool. So you all are now 1 year in. What have you learned? What's worked? What hasn't? If you could do it all over again.
We worked a lot.
We still work a lot, I think.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough thing. I mean, we've been doing this a long time, so I mean, I think we felt pretty prepared. We got definitely slammed at the beginning, and then so it took a lot. I don't think we slept a lot when we first opened, but there's nothing you can do that. That's a good kind of problem to have. And then I think the greatest lesson I took away is I underestimated. I always, of course, wanted to focus on lagers and IPAs, and I knew at least half of that would go over well. But I didn't know DC would embrace lagers as well as they did. And so when we opened, we thought we would have to, offer a little bit wider array of styles. And we were, dabbling into things that just weren't as exciting for us. And, the public embraced the same things we embraced. So now our focus is basically exactly what we want to do, which is great because it's also what the people have shown that they want. So I was surprised by that. If you had told me I could have 3, malt forward lagers on at a time, I would have thought that was a poor choice. And now I've realized actually DC's here for it. So I'm here for it too.
Yeah, I think we're incredibly lucky in that we could not ask for a better community. DC's home for us, which is what brought us back. But we really were surprised by how the community, especially DC Beer, thank you for always helping us spread the word. And just the DC Beer community is very collaborative, very very brother in arms, and the neighborhood itself has been just overwhelmingly supportive. So, it sounds, it sounds funny to say. I'm having a hard time thinking of what I would have changed about this past year. And again, we've had the luxury to mull over this for 10 years, and we've opened a couple of places with other companies. So, we were able to make our mistakes with other places. And then so we've thought a lot about it. And I don't know that I can't think of anything that I would have changed.
And I think a big part of that is a huge shout out to our staff. Honestly, our day one staff is almost identical to our current staff. They're all almost all people that we've worked with in the past. Our management team, Megan and Cody, have been amazing keeping this place together with us. And without them, we couldn't have done it. So I think the fact that the year has gone as smoothly as it has is due to our amazing staff. So I give them a huge round of applause.
Excellent. That's very cool of you. And I think it speaks volumes that the staff you started with is the staff that remain. That speaks to, I think, a well-run program. You're also sending beer to Virginia this upcoming weekend for Dynasty's Stout Fest. But is it a stout?
It is not. We decided to change it up a little. I mean, everybody's going to have so many wonderful stouts to be able to have. But kind of the beer that I feel has gotten the most talk about since we opened. And again, going back to that point where what I was surprised by, our dark lager Grave Shift is one of our favorite beers. I didn't know it was going to be embraced as well as it has, but it has. And so, thank heavens for that. But I think this will be the first time that Grave Shift has left DC. So we will be taking Grave Shift out to Dynasty. And then so we'll have something a little crisper to clean your palate in between all those delicious stouts.
Cool. Keeping it stout, you have a background, Jared, at Lagunitas, which I think on one hand is famed for hoppier beers, but on the other, they also put out willetized and some bigger stouts. how did that inform your approach to making your anniversary beer?
I mean, I definitely learned a lot about proper barrel management and all of that. It is almost comical, the little piddly thing that we've done here in comparison. So, I mean, like, I have 2 barrels with stout in them here, whereas when I was at Lagunitas, I oversaw a 5,000 barrel program, which is not an envious thing, but it is very different. So, but I mean, again, it teaches you proper management, proper ways to do things. I'm very comfortable, using the barrels and all of that, but I get to play more here. I mean, you can't go and do as much playful things when you're doing it at that kind of quantity over there. So like Willetize, delicious. But I mean, we would fill in D barrel, usually about 500 or more barrels in a given day with that. So when you're doing that, you don't get to be like, oh, let's put it on roasted pecans and, things like that. And so you just don't have that kind of, whimsy, whereas that's the opposite of here. So, I mean, like, I was able to go and hand roast 10 pounds of pecans to let the barrel condition on and things like that. So, I mean, it's like we have a lot more ability to kind of do exactly what we want here. But it definitely taught me a ton about how to do it properly.
The first batch of Tiger Spirit, I think dialing in the peppercorns took a little bit of work. How did it go for batch 2?
Well, everybody involved in batch 1 wanted more of what the 50 hertz peppercorns. Shout out to Yao, but he always refers to his whole lifestyle as tingly. So
stay tingly, my friends.
But everyone from Greg Anger, because Blue Jacket is involved, to Yao himself, of course, wanted more tingly. So we did add a little bit more Szechuan peppercorn on this round. And it's tasting really good. It is not finished conditioning, but I mean, it's most of the way there. And I really like how this turned out. I mean, we didn't turn it up to 11 or anything, but I mean, we definitely increased it. I think it's still a very approachable beer, which was kind of our goal, is to have these cool ingredients, but have them balanced so that it's a food friendly and not I don't want to say off-putting, but a more approachable beer to the general public.
You've got barrels emptied now. Are you going to put more beer in said barrels? Are you going to acquire more barrels? Are you bottling with do you have like a 4-head bottling system at this point?
No, I wish I had a 4-head bottling system. We have
your hand bottling and capping like a home brewer?
Yeah. We have a 2-head bottling system. It is my head and Cody's head, and we are bottling it all ourselves.
And a few volunteers.
Yeah. Hand labeling, all of that. Yeah. I mean, it until we have a more robust barrel program, it doesn't make sense for us to, invest in like a Maheen or something. So, for the time being, we're doing it using, just the old style method.
Way.
But no, we definitely will fill up some more barrels. As soon as we get past the anniversary, then I have some ideas of what I'd like to do. I don't know if we'll reuse these barrels. Reuse is really not great unless you're going to do something like a wild in it. And I don't know how I feel about that at the moment. I love keeping my house clean. So going back to resident culture, Chris worked at, Russian River, and, Vinny was adamant about you have 2 separate houses, one for the dirty stuff or the sour program, and then one for the clean stuff. And you weren't even allowed to work in those 2 areas on the same day. It was like you had 2 separate pairs of boots. I think about it the same way here. So we'll see. But I will definitely fill up some more barrels. Yes. We will be doing that probably in the next 2 months. We'll put something in something. So I don't know what yet. First we're going to get these empty, and then I'll figure out the next frontier.
What does the next year hold for Lost Generation? Like, what's in the works? What are you planning?
So we have a couple big name bars out of the city and throughout the Mid-Atlantic that we're going to do anniversary tap takeovers. Obviously, we're going to do it here first, and then we're going to send some to places that we wouldn't normally be found at some really cool names, and we're really excited about that. So that's one thing that we're excited about, kind of, expanding our network a little bit. But beyond that, yeah, I mean, we are finally at a capacity now where we can increase distro a little bit, but still it's not our focus by any means. And I'm really excited. We have some amazing collabs lined up for the coming year. So, we started I think pretty good with, we Henhouse, Sapwood, Blue Jacket, obviously, Resident and Cerebral. And then the next year, we've already lined up a couple really heavy hitters as well that we'll be releasing sporadically in the coming months.
Congrats on a year. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Anne. The 11th, the anniversary party. We will see you there.
11. Yeah, 11/11 at 11. We hope to see you.
Oh, see? Easy enough to remember. All right.
All right. Thank you. You all have a great day.
I wish I could be there.
Because we were all there. We were there before they even opened. I went and took a bunch of pictures. We had a preview party.
That was a year ago?
And that was over a year ago now.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember
It was
taking
like 53 or 54 weeks.
I took 1,000 pictures. I was so excited because we had met Anne before, and I fell in love with Anne. She's still one of my favorite people. And, just so happens they make fantastic beer. So anytime we get to sit down and talk or see Anne is always a great time. So happy anniversary to Lost Generation.
Absolutely.
And happy anniversary to my neighborhood brewery, Hellbender. On the 11th as well, is their 9th anniversary. So luckily, both of these breweries are in the same quadrant of DC. So you have no excuse. You can go visit both of them.
Yeah, it's not just the same quadrant. They're both right off the Met Branch Trail. Lost Gen, obviously part of the Drink MBT Met Beer Trail. And then you go further up it, you could bike from one to the other. And maybe you should, so long as you're doing it responsibly.
Very true. I'll be at both.
So we're not content just to give you 2 guests in one interview. What if we gave you 5 guests in another interview? And so here we have, for your listening pleasure, just a taste of the mixed fermentation panel that DC Beer did at Snallygaster. Shouts to NRG. And shouts to that panel, Avery Swanson from Keeping Together, Christian from De Fontaine. There are 3 fountains. If you're like me and you insist on calling things literally, Doug Coombs of Ale Song, Ron Extract, who's going to kick it off from Garden Path, and Chris Johnson of Green Bench. The full interview is going to be available to our very special Patreon members, dcbeer.com/Patreon. But in the meantime, here's a taste.
I'm just going to ask, do all of y'all hate it as much as I do when people use sour as a noun?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Well, not a style, not even a noun. But to that point, to style, that's the other thing that I want to touch on is that there's a conception, I think, that a good beer has to be a good beer in a predefined style. And styles were created by great beers, not the other way around. That great beers, things that are unique, that are interesting, that are innovative, give rise to styles. And for those of you who are going to rate our beers according to whatever style that somebody on Untappd decided that they belong in, and then critique them for not being in that style, you're missing the point. And frankly, if you're rating our beers based on a 1 ounce taste in this venue, you're also missing the point. As Avery said earlier, we're not making beers to be sampled. We're making beers to be enjoyed, consumed. Drink a full glass and then drink another one and then drink a third and then rate it and tell me what you think. If you're splitting a sample with 5 of your friends and then giving an Untappd rating without any kind of further explanation of why you think what you think, it's of no value to us. And you probably wouldn't appreciate it if we went and criticized how you do your job without any elaboration on that. So, let's create a site where we just criticize. I think we should rate our raters. We need a site where we just take people on Untappd and we say why they suck, or don't even, just give them 1 star and don't even say why they suck, and just say, sorry, I don't like whoever this person is, or whatever they represent. They don't fit a category well enough for me. They they defy categorization, so I'm just going to dismiss them.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I got off topic here.
I have a comment on this. All of us have been in this industry for a long time, and we've all learned so much about as many different things as we possibly can when it comes to beer, right? Years and years ago, I studied my ass off to take the Master Cicerone exam, and I failed it a couple times and eventually passed it. And part of the motivation that I had doing that was like, I make beer that is not to style, but it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I am doing, and I am making beer that is not stylistically accurate for a reason. How do you reconcile style and innovation, right? Because you cannot have this dogmatic view of what beer is and what style is, and at the same time still embrace innovation.
That wasn't sour at all.
That was a good segue.
Would you say it was sweet, Brandy?
Oh man, that was the first time I met Ron, and I fell in love with him. So shout out to Ron, wherever you are right now in Washington State. Can't wait to see you again. Hopefully it's not all the way until next Snally, but you cracked me up, dude. Glad I could bring you some wings. I wanted to congratulate Imani and Lindsay of Urban Garden Brewing because they surpassed their goal of the first segment, really, of their fundraising, their crowdfunding for their brewery, which will be at Fort Totten. So it would be amazing to have another brewery up by me, because there are pockets of breweries, and there are always places closing. And rip to District Made, formerly 1-8. I will miss them dearly. So yeah, shout out to Northeast DC getting another brewery eventually.
All right.
Cool. On that note, we bid you all farewell and good night. We are at DC Beer across social media, dcbeer.com. And again, dcbeer.com/Patreon. You should join because we're cool and fun. And you're cool and fun too. Thanks for listening.
Aw, thanks, Jake.
No, I wasn't talking to you, Brandy. I was talking to the audience.
Damn it.
Boiled again.